Hello, my name is Victor, and in the next 10 minutes, I want to show you some research that I've done on NVDA stock, and I want to highlight something incredibly concerning. And be sure to stick around until the end of the video because I actually owned NVDA stock at one point in my investing career, and I want to show you how that went. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into these earnings. NVIDIA stock has really been the pulse of the stock market here for the last 2 to 3 years. And as you can see by this article here, NVIDIA beats on top and bottom lines and expects AI spend to continue. And that's one of the biggest problems that NVIDIA stock has had over the last couple of quarters, and that is concerns regarding when or if their growth rates will decrease. Having a deeper look into the numbers here, and we can see that their earnings per share estimated was $1.01 versus $1.05 was the actual result. So a slight beat on the bottom line. Revenue was $46.06 billion expected, $46.74 billion was the result. So again, another beat on the top line. But the amazing thing about NVIDIA stock is that even with this performance, they are still raising guidance. The article goes on to say NVIDIA said it expects revenue this quarter to be $54 billion. And that does not include any shipments or potential shipments of HTO chips to China. Analysts were expecting revenue of $53.1 billion. Now I want to actually go into the quarterly earnings report and have a look at how they did. And just having a quick glance at this earnings report for their most recent quarter, NVIDIA stock should be in the dictionary right beside growth company because these numbers are absolutely staggering. Revenue up 56% compared to this time last year. Their operating income 53% better than this time last year. Net earnings up 59% compared to this time last year. I mean, this type of growth is unprecedented. And that is exactly why so many investors have been keeping an eye on NVIDIA. The company just comes in and smashes numbers, and you really can't find another company that is growing at these rates, at least at this time in the market. But what's absolutely amazing to me about NVIDIA stock is not only how much they're growing by, but they have been doing it consistently now since the middle of 2023 when the AI boom really started. In fact, for the last 9 quarters, year-over-year revenue growth has exceeded 50% every single quarter in and out since the middle of 2023. I mean, again, amazing, astounding. I'm running out of words here to describe NVIDIA stock. For anybody who has made it until this point in the video, thank you so much. If you are enjoying the video, be sure to give me a like. It helps out the channel tremendously. And be sure to hit the little bell icon when you subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. And I mean, just have a look at these numbers. Since October of 2023 through spring of 2024, NVIDIA stock was growing over 200% on the top line. I mean, if that doesn't catch your eye as an investor, nothing will. But I do want to highlight that growth has slowed considerably and has been slowing since the summer of last year. Because in July of 2024, we can see 122%, then the next quarter 94, 78, 69, and then in this most recent quarter 56% growth on the top line. Here's a personal story for you. I actually owned NVIDIA stock back, I think it was springtime of last year. If I'm not mistaken, it was late March when I did some research and I pulled the trigger and started a small position in NVIDIA. The only problem was I call it a problem. It's one of the best problems to have as an investor. And that is when you start a position and then the stock immediately rallies. Really, I was planning on building my NVIDIA position throughout the year, but NVIDIA stock shot up about 50% within 2 to 3 months. And if you're new here to the market, being able to get an 8 to 12% return over an entire year is about average. So making 50% returns in 3 months? I'm sorry, but I had to cash out of that position. On June the 14th, I sold about half of my position because I thought, you know what? What if the stock goes down from here? I don't know how long this AI boom is going to last. I just started this position. Let's go ahead and cash in some shares. So I did, making about 47 and a half, or is that, sorry, I'm blind, making about 47% return in about 3 months. I mean, I wasn't upset about it. But then the stock kept going up over the last week. Initially, I thought, well, I'll sell half of my shares and then I'll keep the other half and see how that does. If the stock were to go down, I'll just buy some more at a cheaper price. But no, the stock price continued to rally. And again, I just could not keep myself from selling. So on June the 20th, I sold the remainder of my position with a return of 54.5% on that last half of my shares. Looking at those numbers, you would think, Victor, wow, you did an amazing job in such a short amount of time. Yeah, but had I held on, I would have actually made more money because the stock price currently is higher than what I sold it at. Sometimes you make mistakes as an investor, but hey, you live and you learn. And honestly, I can't even be mad at myself for making that type of a return, but NVIDIA stock has been absolutely hot for the last couple of years here. I'm still going to keep an eye on it, but at this time, I cannot bring myself to buy it again just because of that trend I'm seeing that the revenue growth is starting to slow down tremendously, and I really don't want to buy the stock at a high and then for the AI boom to slow down or completely bust, and then I'm stuck holding a stock waiting for the next AI boom to come, and that could be in the next maybe 4 to 5 years. A risk I'm not willing to take. But let me know what you think about NVIDIA stock. Leave me a comment down below. I really want to know what your opinions are. Do you own NVIDIA stock? How long have you owned NVIDIA stock? Because I know that this particular stock has made so much money for investors. It's insane. So if you are one of those people, I would love to get your story down below. As always, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.